Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the Electronicore band Icy Stars with their new record, The Wheel. The first album the band has done in 9 years following the Treehouse album in 2016. So Icy Stars have been dropping some singles for a few years now. We had Anomaly and Drift as two songs that released on its own. Then we had Are We Even and Damage Done, which released I think 2023 still. These four were 2023, then Split came out 2024. Eliminator then came out this year. So they've been really pretty much just drop feeding these very slowly, I'm assuming to build up hype, but it's a terrible way to build up hype if you're just slowly releasing material, especially if the material is nothing crazy and fans have been talking about how it's not really anything they in particular are hyped for. But the album's here. I'll go through track by track and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So Spin It, I don't really need to talk about it. It's just an interlude about spinning a wheel because, you know, it's a wheel. So we're going to the first actual song, The Wheel. Why does this need to be a song? This feels like the most pointless song on the record, and it's the first track. He does the kind of shouty vocals as a substitute for screaming, and it sounds pretty rough, especially since this isn't the only song he does it on, trust me. The next song also does it as well, but this one just feels so barren. It's so forgettable, so bland. I don't even know why this one even made it onto the album. I think they just had the idea of calling it The Wheel and then just slumped a song together. That's how I think it came to existence. Eliminator, I dislike this one. Probably the worst single we had of the 6. This just sounds bad. The shouty vocals are even worse here, and I don't like how the mixing and vocal effects sound. It just sounds pretty rough on the whole song. But then they also do this the shouty vocals after the "all I hear is noise" bit, and then it's just some really bland electronic distortion to kind of build up hype to the next part of the song where they can put the guitars and drums in, but it doesn't work. It just feels like a very weird mess of a track, and one of the worst songs I think they've dropped. Damage Done, I don't really care that much for this one. It's surpassable. I don't think it's got a good chorus. I don't think it's got a good verse or anything. It's just okay. Instrumentally, it's not too bad, I suppose, but can't really get into this one either. At least they actually do some proper screaming on here, but it doesn't really matter because you still get the shouty vocals on this as well, so what's the point? Float, it's just a very bland electronic core song, but in a weaker way, pretty much taking kind of the I guess the Bring Me the Horizon emo approach with vocals, just kind of the Bring Me the Horizon vocals, similar idea slumped onto this, and I don't care for it, unfortunately. Let's hope we get better luck with Drift. Drift's not too bad. I think this is where it kind of does pick up a bit, but I don't really have much a strong opinion on Drift either. Out of the singles, probably one of the more forgettable ones, but not the worst thing either. It's just kind of inoffensive, I suppose, is a perfect term for it. Are We Even? Probably one of the better singles for sure. Better than Drift, better than Eliminator. But at the same time, I don't really remember this one as well. I just feel like this one, I can kind of understand. It feels like it's got the makings of a better constructed song, but at the same time, I feel like this whole album is just not really going with the idea very well. Floodlight, I really didn't care for this one. It's just another bland track. It kind of feels like Float or Drift in my opinion. It just doesn't really do anything. And even though they're trying to kind of do something that's quite ambitious and different than what they've done before, I feel like Treehouse did that perfectly, and this is just kind of a lost idea of what they're doing. So no, I'm not liking this album so far. Carry On For You, it's just another very bland song, and it does the Bring Me the Horizon aesthetic, but with weak electronics as well. I just find a lot of this either just mediocre and forgettable, or it's just downright really badly made, and that's not a good sign. Split, I was thinking this one was alright when it came out, and I think it's okay, but the shouty vocals are here. The instrumentation and writing does not improve at all. It's just kind of the same slog we've had before, but mildly a little bit more interesting, I suppose. We have Lost It, the one that features a Palais Royale feature. Um, this just doesn't. This just doesn't even feel like it belongs on the album. The way the feature kind of comes on, it just steers away from being kind of part of the theme of the album when it comes to the randomness where you don't really know what is going to come next. Is it going to be a stop? Is it going to be a pause? Is it going to be a clunky shift in idea? It just feels very like by the numbers basic and doesn't fit the album whatsoever, so it just feels like an outlier, to be honest. After Dark, it's fine. I think it's probably one of the better ones instrumentally, and it does have some good vocals I enjoy, but it's not really going to be the saving grace of the album, is it? Anomaly was one of the two first singles, and I will be honest, I do think this one is probably one of the best constructed songs. It feels like a more compelling song from them. It feels like I can actually imagine them writing it, and it's catchy, it's nothing crazy, it's decent though. I actually think this probably is the highlight of the album, and if that's the case, yikes. And Curtain Call, I don't really care for this one either, to be honest. Is this the end of Icy Stars? Was this like the kind of final hurrah? Is that why it's Curtain Call? It just feels so weird that 9 years later you just get them trying to do what is probably the bare bone impression of what they've done before, and be so ambitious with just this, how clunky, how lazy the writing is for this. It just feels like we come back to one of the biggest disasters possibly made. This comeback album is honestly really, really bad in my opinion. There's not really one song that actually stood out to being this magnum opus, and I'll be honest, Treehouse is not the best album ever, I can guarantee that, but the worst songs on there probably beat the entire record here. I like Treehouse. It's different from New Demons, which is clearly the band's best record, and Treehouse is not too far from that. I like both those albums quite a lot, and I was thinking, if they're doing more of the shouty vocals because the lead singer can't scream, it's a weird choice to include them in the first place, but then I figured out the lead singer can scream because there's like 2 fucking songs on Treehouse that has that. Calm Snow has a little bit that sounds fine, but then the song Yellow King just has a whole point of uncleans, and it sounds so much better than what we're getting here. It's just a weird, complete mess of a album cycle. Releasing these songs slowly does not bring any more hype into it. It just killed a lot more because a lot of the singles weren't even that good. The biggest weaknesses literally stem from the first bunch of tracks. That's not a good impression. There's not really any song in the first couple of tracks that's actually good, so you're going to get really much a bad impression of it. I dislike this, and I really like Icy Stars, so I'm pretty baffled about how abysmal this album was, but I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 5. It's literally a very hard to listen to album, and I often found myself pretty much just drifting listening to it. No pun intended to drift, but it's just one of the most bland experiences ever, and when it's not bland, it's just really badly made. I can't get into it, so hope you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.